You clicked on that thumbnail. So I guess I didn't glue that one on really well, but you clicked on that thumbnail, so that means you want to know how to make this cute winter wonderland tree. So keep on watching. Welcome back to my channel. It is Ashleigh here, and if you are new, hey girl, hey, make sure you click on that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll always be up to date with my latest tutorials. So today we're just going to be flocking some trees, adding some pine cones to them, and making them look winter wonderland. I'm also going to be showing you guys how to create some labels or printables or whatever you want to do on your computer so that you can then transfer them on to anything that you would like. So I hope you guys enjoy this. So let's get started. The main materials you're going to need for this project are a mini Christmas tree, a metal bucket, Santa snow, and ribbon. Okay, so we're gonna start with our bucket, and I actually got this bucket from the Goodwill for 99 cents, but you can pick up these buckets from the Dollar Tree for $1. And I'm just gonna start to remove the twine at the top. The next step is going to be galvanizing this bucket so it won't be as shiny, and I'm just going to be using my Brillo pad. So you use steel wool, but I didn't have any, so I'm using my Brillo pad because it's the same thing, but it just has soap mixed with it, and then I'm just going to use that and scrub around my whole entire bucket. Now I'm going to take my Lysol and a scrub brush, and I'm going to scrub around the whole bucket, and I'm going to let it sit for a few hours. So now I'm gonna rust the bottom, and to do that, you're gonna need some vinegar, and then you're gonna mix it with some hydrogen peroxide. And it says about 32 ounces, but I really think that all depends on the size of the bucket that you're using. And then also you're gonna use a little bit of salt, which I didn't have regular salt because I use Himalayan salt and it works just as well. So this is what the bucket looks like after it has been all galvanized, and now I'm just going to rust the bottom, and I'm going to leave it in there for about 4 or 5 hours. I also swirled it around a little bit so it won't have an even rust ring. After about an hour or so, you're going to start to see the rust forming at the bottom of your bucket. All right, so now we're going to move on to creating our labels. So the site that I like to use to do stuff like this is canva.com, which is free to use. I absolutely love this site. You can create so much stuff on here. So if you want to do business cards, flyers, posters, anything like that, you can definitely use this site, and they have tons of fonts for you to choose from. So they also have a tons of different graphics and photos that you can choose from off of this site. So as you can see, I'm trying to pick out Christmas trees to put at the top here, which I don't really like these Christmas trees, but if you don't like something, you can definitely always download your own image, which is what I did here. And I'm just gonna add these abstract trees to the top. Now, one thing that I can say is if you don't like any of their fonts or any of their images, you can always upload your own, which is the Christmas tree image is a font that I actually uploaded, and I have a license for it. So make sure anything that you're using like that, you have a license for it if you want to sell it. But I'm not going to be selling this, so I'm going to actually have this linked down below. If you want to download it yourself and use it for your own craft at your house, you totally can, so that will be down below. All right, so the next step, which is the most important step, is printing. So when you're printing this out, make sure that you're printing it as a PDF print file if you are doing anything like this on Canva. And you don't have to worry about that because I already had that downloaded for you. Make sure when you're printing it that you want to have this in reverse when you print it. So when you are transferring it on to whatever you're transferring it on, when you read it, it will read correctly and it won't be backwards. So now that we have the label printed out, all you're gonna do is just cut it out. Now I'm gonna take my bucket, my Mod Podge, and my label, and all you're gonna do is take that label and you want to make sure that wherever you want to put it, that it is nice and centered. So just figure that out before you start to add your Mod Podge. And then once you do that, you just want to soak this thing in Mod Podge. I mean, drench it in that stuff, because you want to make sure that it sticks really well onto your bucket. And then after you do all of that, you're just going to place that label back onto your bucket. And after you've placed the label onto your bucket, you just want to make sure that you have no bubbles. And if you still need to move it around a little bit, you can, because you'll be able to do that. And then you're going to let this sit for a full day, I recommend. But you don't have to, but I would if you want to make sure it comes out good. Okay, so now that it's nice and dry, the next step is to start to rub this off. So you can use a paper towel, a washcloth, whatever you want to do, and you just want to start to rub it, and then you can also use your fingers to remove the paper. So this is what it looks like after I have removed everything. So I left a little bit of the paper and I rubbed off some more of the label just to give it that vintage kind of old worn look. You don't have to do that, but that's what I did for this. And I just think it pairs nicely with the rusted bottom. So now I'm just gonna take my ribbon where I removed the twine and I'm just going to add it to the top. All right, so I just wanna show you, I'm gonna add my ribbon right here where the bucket meets. All right, so now since I have glued the whole entire front portion here, when I get to the side, it starts to become hard to do this without it getting wrinkled. So I'm just going to cut it so that I can just kind of start over again. And once I cut it down the middle, I'm going to cut another piece of ribbon. And then when I cut that piece of ribbon, I'm just going to fold it and create like a seam and place that on top. And I'm going to create that same look on the other side too, so it can be cohesive. And then it's going to be way easier for you to glue this around the back portion of the bucket. So now I'm just going to take my lace ribbon and I'm going to add it to the middle of this bucket using my glue gun. Alright, so now we get to the fun part where I'm going to use my Santa snow and we are going to start to add snow and create like a flocking look with this tree. Now I'm just going to take these pine cone florals that I got from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to remove them, and we are going to be adding this to the Christmas tree. So now we're going to take those pine cones and I'm just going to add them to those large spaces that you see here to cover them up. Alright, so I added my tree to the foam and now I'm going to add the foam into the bucket. And once you add this into the bucket, the next step is just taking some Spanish moss and adding that Spanish moss inside so that you can cover the inner parts of this bucket, and then you'll be all finished. So that's the end of the video. As always, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below to let me know what you think, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!